Women tend to believe that when they refuse a man a date, a meeting, or intimacy, he should take it firmly and calmly, forgetting that women are a much more vulnerable, weaker sex. If the refusal sounds to a woman, they are not always able to adequately perceive the information and accept the situation as it is. In other words, women tend to perceive the information presented by a man in a distorted version, refracted by female psychology. It's a tragic part of life that we all must go through at least once, both men and women alike: rejection. If you have feelings for someone and you suddenly find yourself sanctioned in the dreaded friend zone, you start to evaluate every tiny little aspect of yourself and your personality to answer the question of why. While men whine about being cast to the zone and blame the person doing the casting, women just blame themselves. No one likes rejection. When a guy goes after a woman, he wants her full attention, especially at the beginning of a relationship. More often than not, if a woman is still caught up on someone else, an ex especially, the man will do an about-face. Despite what romantic comedies tell us in the movie theater, men don't like competition that early on. Sure, Hollywood likes to make us think they do, but in all honesty, it's too much work for them. And if they sense you're still caught up on someone else, chances are you will still be caught up on the person if they enter a relationship with you. No one likes to come in second to the apparition of a failed relationship. No, it hurts, but not deadly. In the case where a man refuses and the woman does not know how to behave, you need to calm down and talk to yourself about all his words. Do not be too hot and take the refusal as something personal concerning you. There's no need to give too much importance to his words. There are several reasons men give for their refusal. Busy, work, study. Busyness is a very convenient argument, appropriate in all forms of rejection. However, if it is repeated with a fair amount of frequency, then you should think about the real reasons. Perhaps the man does not consider the woman his second half. Another point is that the man does not want to reassure the woman, as he understands that because of his workload, he is unlikely to be able to give enough attention. Fatigue also has its place, especially if the man is engaged in heavy physical or mental work. It should be understood and accepted that this is a valid reason, because no woman wants her chosen one to fall asleep in a movie, a cafe, or worse, in bed. Financial insolvency. Real men entering into a serious relationship with a woman or even making advances to her assess their financial situation in terms of the possible creation of a new unit of society. Men are not spontaneous. They tend to plan, so the absence of a good job or temporary financial difficulties may be a valid reason to reject the girl. But of course, a man will try to hide this fact. No desire to go anywhere. A woman should perceive this answer correctly because there was no emphasis on her. Perhaps it's about a man's emotional feelings, which he would never share with an unfamiliar woman, considering it a manifestation of weakness. The desire to spend the evening in the company of men with friends. Why not? A man needs freedom or a sense of it. Before a serious relationship with a woman, he had his own life, which he doesn't feel the need to redraw. In addition, having friends allows him to talk. If the relationship with a woman has not gone to the stage of absolute trust and understanding, to solve some long overdue problems, and finally, to discuss his sobriety. Psychological practitioners have described cases where a woman was initially rejected by a man, but after a while, he offered her a serious relationship with a hint of marriage. As it turned out, the man did not consider himself successful at the time, had some financial problems, and thought he would not be able to provide for the woman. As time passed, the situation changed. He felt grounded and made the first move. A man's pitch of renunciation. In contradiction, the tone of the conversation and explanation is important. Men are mostly balanced and not hysterical, so the man's explanation is stated in a calm tone. Men like specifics. For example, in his arguments he can express a few dry facts and reasons, and this in men's understanding is considered normal. Men do not talk in hints as women do. If he uttered a phrase about not being ready for a serious relationship, then that's the way it is. Women perceive specific phrases differently, concluding that the man does not want to talk to her, so he uses short answers. Men, brought up, of course, are more tactful than women. Silence, as they say, is the politeness of kings, so you will never hear offensive or insulting phrases from the mouth of an unfamiliar gentleman. In a sensitive or controversial situation, it is better to be silent or leave. Did man outcast how to behave as a woman, how to avoid the appearance of complexes and tightness after an unpleasant incident? A woman should reflect, maybe it is true that the man who said no is not the hero of her novel, and thus does not dwell on it, and even more so on his words. Psychologists do not advise the female sex to include assertiveness in the conquest of men. This is the inheritance of the stronger sex about women. A white horse, flowers, gifts, and other paraphernalia. It would be more prudent not to waste your precious time, and to make room in your heart and soul for someone more worthy and open to mutual feelings. Also, read our article, Why a Man Does Not Want a Relationship, further on the link. How to perceive and survive the refusal of a man in a relationship. The situation when a guy rejects a girl in a relationship is much more common than the other way around. The root of the problem is in the genetic codes of the sexes. So experts advise women to prepare for all variants of events possible on the love front. A man declined. How to behave. For example, in a cafe in the summer at separate tables seated boys and girls, different in appearance, dressed in the opposite style. Experiment participants were asked to sit down with the person they liked best and get to know them. Men looked at the most beautiful girl but went to get acquainted with nothing remarkable. And the female subgroup, regardless of their external data, chose the most attractive and successful-looking young men, approached them without a shadow of embarrassment, and started a conversation. Men want to be winners, but are afraid of not liking a beauty and getting rejected, so they choose the win-win option. Women subconsciously look for an ideal father for their offspring, trying to attract his attention, but often fall into the category of rescinded. A guy's reluctance to date should not be taken as the end of the world. Things can change. He will change his mind. Stop liking him. There will be another time, better than this. If as a child a girl was brought up a princess, and any daughter is the best in the world for parents, then the refusal of the guy will make you think about lowering the self-esteem bar, to change tactics, so that a man will pay attention to the best qualities of the girl already on the first date. Women tend to exaggerate their attractiveness to the male half of mankind, and with the mass public disclosure of the world star's theme of harassment, confidence in the unconditional demand of each member of the female population has increased several times. But the stories of actresses and the dreams of provincial women are often disconnected from real life. A guy turned down a relationship, shock, disaster, a break in the pattern. Apart from the elementary answer to the question that he just did not like you, as yesterday did not appeal to the man who spoke to you in the subway. There are many reasons to prohibit. He is married or dating someone else, does not want to force the issue, just wanted to chat, but the conversation did not inspire sex, is afraid to offend by insistence and takes a wait-and-see attitude, likes to play unavailable and wait for the one who will drive him into a corner, and considers active women frivolous and ready for intimacy after the first date. Getting acquainted with a man, you should pay attention to his character and temperament. Depends on his reluctance to meet. Soft stew under pressure. The alpha male will not put his price. Hence, the reaction of women should not be the same. The guy refused the relationship that you were counting on and trying to please. Experts advise acting according to the following plan to get out of the situation without psychological trauma. Make work on the mistakes in your behavior so that similar cases in life do not repeat. Convince yourself that the man who refused the relationship is not the last person on the planet. Love must be mutual, otherwise it's a dead end. Try not to meet with the object of disappointment, so as not to cause a feeling of self-pity or a desire for revenge on the guy. Lead an active lifestyle. relax with friends and companies, and meet new people. A failed relationship is not grief, but a rehearsal of real feelings that will come along with the one man and make you happy. Give this video a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe and see more of our videos up here. Thanks for watching.